I could have sworn I locked that door.
Homer, see ya.
Let me tell you a secret. Family Matters is ostensibly a sitcom, but it's actually not funny behind the scenes. Don't let the scripted comedy of Family Matters fool you, because there are at least 5 tense secrets that happen during filming that few people know about. Indeed, even true fans of Family Matters are unaware of this, and that's why you should stay tuned for our chilling revelations. Are you ready? Let's get started. The first shocking secret in Family Matters must include the character Steve Urkel. Family Matters is often remembered for its heartwarming portrayal of the Winslow family and the hilariously nerdy antics of Steve Urkel. However, what many may not realize is that Urkel, the character who became the most iconic and defining element of the show, was never intended to be a central figure. In fact, Jaleel White's portrayal of the whiny-voiced, suspender-wearing super nerd wasn't even part of the original concept. His character was introduced halfway through the first season, and what happened next was nothing short of television history. Steve Urkel, initially conceived as a minor character, was introduced as just another quirky neighbor, a dorky teenager with an obsessive crush on Laura Winslow, the Winslow family's teenage daughter. His role was initially intended to be limited, a one-time appearance or, at most, a recurring character who popped in occasionally to pester Laura. But something about Urkel resonated deeply with audiences. His exaggerated persona, complete with his trademark high-pitched voice, oversized glasses, and relentless optimism, struck a chord with viewers. The character's catchphrase, "Did I do that?" quickly became a cultural phenomenon, and soon Urkel was stealing the spotlight. The immediate and overwhelming response to Urkel was a surprise to everyone involved with the show. As Jo Marie Payton, who played the Winslow family matriarch Harriet, recounted to TV series finale, it was the show's producers, Bill Bickley and Michael Warren, who first realized the magnitude of Urkel's popularity. They called together Payton, Thelma Hopkins, Aunt Rachel, and Reginald VelJohnson, Carl Winslow, to deliver the unexpected news. ABC was so enamored with Urkel that they wanted to shift the focus of Family Matters to center around him. This marked a significant change in the show's dynamic and direction. For the original cast members, this shift was both surprising and challenging. It was a real shocker to all of us, you know what I mean? Because he was this little character, Payton explained. The original premise of Family Matters had been about the Winslow family, with Harriet Winslow, who was originally introduced as a character on the show Perfect Strangers, at the heart of the narrative. The Winslows were meant to be a relatable, middle-class African-American family, and the show was built around their daily lives and interactions. The unexpected rise of Urkel transformed the show from a family sitcom into what many viewed as the Steve Urkel Show, where his nerdy escapades and inventions became the central focus. Despite the initial shock and the inevitable tensions that arose from this shift in focus, the cast eventually came to terms with the new direction. Payton acknowledged that while it was a difficult adjustment, the cast couldn't ignore the impact Urkel had on the show's success. She even joked that they were still laughing to the bank with the residuals because Urkel made the show go for so long. Indeed, Family Matters went on to air for 9 seasons, producing 215 episodes, a rare achievement for any television show. Jaleel White, too, recognized the strain that his character's sudden popularity put on the cast dynamics. Things were definitely strained in the early going. There's no sense in hiding that, he admitted in an interview with Vanity Fair. The tension was understandable. The show's original cast members had been thrust into the background as Urkel's presence grew more dominant. This shift created a natural division between White and the rest of the cast, as the show's focus drifted away from the Winslow family and increasingly revolved around Urkel's hijinks. In 2012, Jaleel White found himself embroiled in serious allegations of abuse, casting a shadow over his once stellar reputation. The accusations came from Bridget Hardy, White's former girlfriend and the mother of their daughter. According to Hardy, their relationship took a dark turn in 2010 following a confrontation that led to allegations of violence and abuse. The situation reportedly began when Hardy discovered evidence of infidelity on White's phone. Confronted with this discovery, White allegedly reacted with intense anger. Hardy claimed that during the confrontation, White struck her across the chest, an act of physical aggression that marked the beginning of a series of violent incidents. The confrontation escalated when White allegedly pushed Hardy into a toilet, causing it to break. This incident underscored the severity of the situation and highlighted the volatility of White's behavior during that period. Following this violent episode, Hardy made the decision to leave the house, taking their daughter with her on a pre-planned out-of-town trip. This move was not just a physical departure, but a significant step towards protecting herself and her child from further harm. Upon returning home, Hardy found that White had changed the locks on their house and had placed all of her possessions into a storage facility. This act of exclusion and displacement further compounded the distress Hardy was experiencing. Hardy's decision to go public with her allegations was a bold move that brought the private turmoil of her relationship with White into the public sphere. She shared her story with Star magazine, a move that quickly gained traction and attracted media attention. The allegations were picked up by Radar Online and other outlets, amplifying the impact of Hardy's claims and placing White under intense scrutiny. In response to the allegations, Jaleel White dismissed Hardy's claims as attempts to undermine him during a period of personal success. In a statement to People magazine, White described the allegations as a common occurrence when someone is doing well in life, suggesting that such claims were part of a broader pattern of individuals seeking to bring him down. He expressed particular hurt, given that the accuser was the mother of his only child, indicating that the situation was emotionally charged and deeply personal. White further explained that Hardy's public comments were strategically timed to gain an advantage in their child custody negotiations. This assertion positioned Hardy's actions as manipulative rather than genuine, framing the allegations as a tactic in a contentious legal battle rather than a reflection of actual events. White's response aimed to shift the focus from the accusations themselves to the context in which they were made, attempting to minimize their impact by suggesting ulterior motives. Also, in 2012, Jaleel White was thrust back into the spotlight when he joined the cast of ABC's Dancing with the Stars. The show, known for its combination of glitz, glamour, and grueling competition, seemed like a perfect fit for White, a former TV star looking to reinvigorate his career and connect with audiences in a new way. However, White's stint on the show was marred by a series of contentious and explosive incidents that painted a different picture of the once adorable nerd from Chicago. White was paired with Kim Johnson, a seasoned professional dancer known for her grace and skill. Despite their initial enthusiasm, the partnership soon became strained. According to Us Weekly, the trouble began during one of their intensive rehearsal sessions. White, who was struggling with the demands of the show, accidentally stepped on Johnson's foot. While such mishaps are common in the high-pressure environment of the show, White's reaction to the incident was anything but typical. Johnson reportedly said, "Ouch," a natural response to minor pain, but White's reaction was far from composed. According to the source who spoke with Us Weekly, White became enraged at Johnson's reaction. Instead of offering an apology or a sympathetic response, White reportedly got in Johnson's face and yelled at her for acting like a baby. He further exacerbated the situation by calling her an idiot. This outburst left Johnson visibly shocked and tearful, prompting her to make a hasty exit from the rehearsal room. The volatile situation escalated further when White turned his ire towards the show's producers. Frustrated and overwhelmed by the stress of the competition, White reportedly began shouting at the producers, expressing his dissatisfaction with being paired with what he described as a stupid partner. His outburst was indicative of the pressure and emotional strain he was experiencing, but it also showcased a lack of composure and professionalism in handling conflict. The incident caught the attention of fellow contestants, including Donald Driver, who attempted to calm White down. However, White's frustration continued unabated. The situation reached a boiling point when White directed his anger towards Mark Ballas, another professional dancer on the show. In a particularly heated moment, White screamed at Ballas, "You remind me of that annoying sitcom neighbor who gets into everyone's face." The remark was a pointed reference to White's own famous TV persona, highlighting the irony and self-awareness, or lack thereof, surrounding his outbursts. Next was the mysterious disappearance of Judy Winslow. In the early seasons of Family Matters, the Winslow family was portrayed as a tight-knit group consisting of 3 children: Eddie, the eldest son, Laura, the smart and assertive middle child, and Judy, the youngest daughter, portrayed by Jamie Foxworth. However, fans who followed the show closely would have noticed something strange as the series progressed. Judy Winslow suddenly disappeared without a trace or explanation after the 4th season. Her character was neither mentioned nor seen again, leading to much speculation and confusion among viewers. The disappearance of Judy Winslow has since become one of the most infamous examples of a character being unceremoniously written off a television show. In the world of sitcoms, it's not entirely uncommon for characters to be phased out or dropped. But what made Judy's case particularly peculiar was the complete lack of acknowledgement of her absence. The Winslow family simply continued on, as if Judy had never existed, and the show's focus shifted increasingly toward the antics of Steve Urkel, the breakout character played by Jaleel White. According to Jamie Foxworth, the decision to remove Judy from the show was not due to any dramatic storyline or even a narrative necessity, but rather a decision made by the show's creative team who simply didn't see a place for her character in the evolving dynamics of Family Matters. Foxworth revealed in an interview with The Root that the producers felt that they could do it and no one would notice. She expressed frustration and hurt over how easily she was dismissed, likening the experience to being thrown away without any explanation. What made the situation even more difficult was that some of her cast members knew about the decision before she did, highlighting a lack of communication and consideration from the production team. Foxworth's removal from the show wasn't just a blow to her career at the time, it marked the beginning of a series of challenges and tough breaks that she would face in the years that followed. Despite her initial success on Family Matters, Foxworth struggled to find her footing after her character was written out. Her TV mother, Jo Marie Payton, who played Harriet Winslow, reportedly tried to advocate for Foxworth and convince the producers to keep her on the show, but her efforts were ultimately unsuccessful. After leaving Family Matters, Foxworth attempted to continue her career in entertainment, turning to music as her next venture. She joined her 2 older sisters in forming an R&B trio called SHE. In 1997, the group released their debut album, Three's a Charm. Unfortunately, the album did not achieve the level of success they had hoped for, and the group disbanded shortly thereafter. This marked another setback in Foxworth's career as her attempts to reinvent herself as a musician failed to gain traction. By the time she was 19, Foxworth had found herself in a difficult financial situation and had begun seeking new opportunities to support herself. This led her to return to acting, but in a completely different and controversial capacity. Under the stage name Crave, Foxworth entered the adult film industry, appearing in a number of adult movies including titles like Booty Talk 20 and My Baby Got Back 29. Her decision to enter this industry was met with mixed reactions, both from the public and from those in her personal life. Foxworth later explained on The Doctor, Oz show that her move into adult films was partly motivated by rebellion against her strict upbringing, which she described as very controlling. She felt the need to break away and assert her independence, but as time went on, she realized that this path wasn't the right one for her. Despite the financial benefits that came with her work in adult films, Foxworth admitted that she was never fully comfortable with the idea of seeing herself in that light. She grappled with feelings of discomfort and regret and ultimately decided to leave the industry in 2002, making her last adult film that year. Maybe you don't know, but Jamie Foxworth fights some demons after Family Matters, and this is scary secret number 3. After her tumultuous experiences with the entertainment industry, Jamie Foxworth faces a new set of challenges in the years following her exit from Family Matters. While she managed to navigate her way out of the public eye professionally, her personal life became increasingly complicated as she grappled with substance abuse and mental health issues. The pressures of her early fame, the sudden end of her television career, and her foray into the adult film industry all took a significant toll on her well-being, leading to a period of deep struggle in the 2000s. Foxworth's battle with addiction began quietly, as she turned to alcohol and marijuana as a means of coping with her internal turmoil. In a revealing interview on the Dr. Oz show, Foxworth admitted that her substance use started off as a way to manage her emotions, but eventually spiraled into a serious dependency. She noted that while many people might not consider drinking or smoking weed to be particularly harmful, for her, it became a crutch that exacerbated her existing struggles with depression and anxiety. "It got bad for me," she said, acknowledging that her substance use was a symptom of deeper issues she had yet to address. The depression Foxworth experienced led her to withdraw from the world around her. She described a period where she isolated herself almost entirely, spending most of her time alone in her bedroom, getting high, and avoiding social interactions. This self-imposed isolation only deepened her feelings of loneliness and despair. "I was basically keeping myself to myself," she explained, recognizing that her behavior was both a cause and a result of her mental health struggles. Her realization that she had cut herself off from friends and family was a turning point, as she began to see how her actions were leading her down a dangerous path. Foxworth's decision to seek help came as she recognized the extent to which her addiction and mental health issues had taken over her life. In 2008, she appeared on VH1's Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew, a reality television series that documented the experiences of celebrities undergoing treatment for various forms of addiction. The show provided Foxworth with a platform to confront her issues publicly and begin the process of recovery. During her time on the show, she opened up about the pain she had been carrying and the ways in which her early fame had contributed to her struggles. The experience was both cathartic and challenging, as it forced her to face the root causes of her addiction. However, Foxworth's journey to sobriety was not a straightforward one. Even after completing her stint on Celebrity Rehab, she continued to struggle with marijuana use, unable to fully let go of the habit. For several months after the show, she found herself still smoking weed, despite the progress she had made in other areas of her life. It wasn't until she received life-changing news that she found the strength to quit for good. She discovered she was pregnant. The secret that follows is Darius McCrary's post-Family Matters restraining order. In 2014, Darius McCrary entered into what many hoped would be a blissful union with Tammy Brawner, a member of the famed Harlem Globetrotters. However, just 3 years later, in 2017, their marriage came to a turbulent and distressing end, marked by serious allegations and a bitter legal battle that played out in the public eye. The dissolution of McCrary and Brawner's marriage was not just a typical divorce. It was accompanied by alarming accusations that shocked many who had fond memories of McCrary's days as the lovable Judy Winslow. According to court documents obtained by E! News, Bronner sought and received a restraining order against McCrary, alleging that he had committed multiple acts of domestic violence against her and their infant daughter. The details of these allegations painted a disturbing picture of a marriage marred by abuse, substance abuse, and volatility. Bronner claimed that McCrary's excessive drinking and drug use were at the root of his violent behavior. She reported that during one particularly horrifying incident, McCrary held their infant daughter over a pot of boiling water, screaming about how he wished she had never been born. This terrifying act of aggression was not an isolated event, according to Bronner. She recounted another incident in which McCrary, in a fit of rage, threw picture frames around their home, narrowly missing her and their child. These accounts of McCrary's behavior led Bronner to fear for her safety and that of their daughter, prompting her to take legal action to protect them. The allegations against McCrary were not entirely new territory for the actor. This was not the first time he had been accused of domestic violence. His previous wife, Karine Steffens, also known as a former video vixen and author, had publicly accused McCrary of violent behavior during their marriage. Steffens claimed that McCrary had perpetrated multiple acts of violence against her, adding a troubling layer of consistency to the allegations made by Bronner. As a result of Bronner's allegations, the court ordered McCrary to move out of the family home and stay at least 100 yards away from both Bronner and their daughter. This legal order was a significant step in what was clearly an acrimonious separation, with Bronner taking strong measures to ensure her and her child's safety. The court's decision underscored the seriousness of the allegations and the need to protect the vulnerable parties involved. In response to the accusations, McCrary and his legal team vehemently denied the claims. His attorney labeled Bronner a predator motivated by a desperate desire to extort money out of Mr. McCrary while trying to create an advantage in an impending divorce and custody battle. This statement suggested that McCrary's camp viewed the allegations as a strategic move by Bronner to gain leverage in the legal proceedings surrounding their separation. The framing of Bronner as a manipulative figure seeking financial gain added another layer of complexity to the already fraught situation, turning what might have been a private matter into a highly publicized and contentious legal dispute. McCrary himself took to social media to counter the narrative being spread about him. He posted a photo of himself and his daughter on Instagram with a caption that read, "Yay right, sad some people will do anything, make not your TMZ." This post seemed to dismiss the allegations as fabrications intended to garner media attention and sympathy. By downplaying the seriousness of the situation and portraying it as a mere tabloid story, McCrary attempted to sway public opinion in his favor, casting doubt on the validity of Bronner's claims. The tumultuous relationship between Darius McCrary and Tammy Bronner, a former member of the Harlem Globetrotters, took yet another dramatic turn in 2017 when McCrary responded to Bronner's accusations of domestic violence with allegations of his own. Just 2 weeks after a judge granted Bronner a restraining order against McCrary, he sought and received a restraining order against her as well, adding further complexity to an already volatile situation. According to TMZ, McCrary claimed that Bronner had a violent streak, and he cited an incident in which she allegedly threw a hot iron at him, resulting in a second-degree burn on his chest. This claim came in the midst of escalating tensions between the two, as their marriage, already fraught with accusations of substance abuse and domestic violence, continued to unravel. The restraining orders issued by the court effectively forced the couple to avoid each other, creating a legal and physical separation as they began to navigate the end of their marriage. Shortly after the restraining orders were in place, Bronner took the next step in formalizing their separation by filing for divorce. In legal documents obtained by TMZ, she cited irreconcilable differences as the reason for the divorce. However, her concerns went beyond the standard language of divorce filings. Bronner requested that McCrary be prohibited from seeing their young daughter until he had sought treatment for his substance abuse issues and attended domestic abuse intervention sessions. Her concerns were rooted in the allegations she had previously made, in which she described McCrary's behavior as erratic and dangerous, particularly when under the influence of alcohol and drugs. The legal battle between McCrary and Bronner dragged on for nearly 2 years, during which time both parties made serious accusations against each other, further complicating the divorce proceedings. However, in the end, the two reached a divorce settlement that sought to address the primary concerns surrounding their daughter's well-being and McCrary's alleged behavior. As part of the settlement, Bronner was awarded both legal and physical custody of their daughter, ensuring that she would be the primary caregiver. McCrary was granted weekly visitation rights, but with significant conditions attached. For the first 20 visits, McCrary would be required to have a court-appointed monitor present, a stipulation likely put in place due to the ongoing concerns about his substance use and the safety of his daughter. This measure underscored the court's cautious approach, balancing McCrary's right to maintain a relationship with his daughter against the need to protect the child's welfare. In addition to the custody arrangements, the court mandated that McCrary seek help for his issues with alcohol, drugs, and violence. He was ordered to attend parenting classes, a move designed to equip him with the skills and knowledge necessary to be a more responsible and supportive father. These court-ordered interventions reflected the seriousness of the allegations against McCrary and the court's determination to ensure that he addressed the root causes of his problematic behavior. Financially, the divorce settlement also imposed significant obligations on McCrary. He was ordered to pay $1,366 per month in child support, a substantial increase from the minimal amount he had been paying in 2018. At that time, McCrary had argued that his acting career was not generating enough income to support higher payments, claiming that he was earning just $462 a month. This led to a low-income adjustment that reduced his child support payments to a mere $29 per month, a shockingly low amount for someone who had once enjoyed the success and financial benefits of a long-running television career. The irony of McCrary's situation was not lost on those who followed the case. Years earlier, McCrary had founded Father's Care, an organization dedicated to helping men become better, more conscientious fathers. The mission of Father's Care was to provide resources and support for fathers, emphasizing the importance of active and positive involvement in their children's lives. Yet here was McCrary, embroiled in a bitter custody battle and facing allegations of being an unfit father due to his struggles with substance abuse and domestic violence. The contrast between his public advocacy for responsible fatherhood and the personal challenges he faced in his own life was stark and deeply tragic. Remember when Family Matters got a whole new mother? This will be the last secret you need to know. Family Matters began its journey as a showcase for Jo Marie Payton, who played the beloved character of Harriet Winslow. Harriet was originally introduced as a supporting character on Perfect Strangers, and her popularity led to her own spin-off show. For years, Payton's portrayal of Harriet anchored the series, providing a strong maternal presence and contributing significantly to the show's success. However, by the late 1990s, Payton's desire to explore other creative avenues began to clash with her commitment to the long-running sitcom. As Family Matters progressed, Payton's frustration with the limited creative opportunities on the show became increasingly apparent. By the mid-1990s, she was presented with an exciting opportunity, a chance to star in a biopic about the iconic gospel singer Mahalia Jackson. This role was particularly significant for Payton, as it represented a substantial departure from her well-established character and offered a new and challenging creative outlet. Unfortunately, her ongoing commitment to Family Matters prevented her from accepting this role, highlighting the constraints she faced while working on the show. Peyton's desire for creative growth extended beyond just the Mahalia Jackson biopic. She actively sought additional opportunities within ABC, lobbying the network for new projects. Peyton and her agent would regularly meet with ABC executives to request additional work or roles, hoping to diversify her career portfolio. This proactive approach reflected her ambition and desire to explore new horizons beyond the confines of her well-established role on Family Matters. However, despite these efforts, additional opportunities never materialized. By the end of Family Matters' 8th season, Peyton's dissatisfaction with the lack of new creative opportunities reached a tipping point. When her contract was up for renewal, she agreed to extend her commitment for the first half of the 9th and final season. This decision allowed her to fulfill her contractual obligations while keeping the door open for new opportunities. However, the continuation of the show without her became a contentious issue. In 1997, halfway through the 9th season, Peyton decided to leave Family Matters. Her departure was met with significant changes behind the scenes. The role of Harriet Winslow was recast, with actress Judy Winslow taking over the character. This transition was difficult for the rest of the cast, who had grown accustomed to Peyton's portrayal of Harriet over the course of nearly a decade. Reginald VelJohnson, who played Carl Winslow, expressed the emotional toll of the recasting. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, he likened the change to getting a divorce and marrying somebody else. This analogy underscored the deep sense of familiarity and comfort that Peyton's presence had provided over the years, making her departure feel like a significant loss to the cast. The adjustment to a new actress in a role that had become so integral to the show's dynamic was challenging and unsettling for the ensemble. Darius McCrary, who portrayed Eddie Winslow, echoed similar sentiments. He admitted that while he held no personal animosity towards Judy Winslow, her arrival felt like a loss of the familiar family dynamic that had been a staple of the show. McCrary's comment, "I felt like my mom was gone," revealed the emotional impact of Peyton's departure and the difficulty of adapting to a new actress in a role that had been so central to the series. What do you think about the 5 newly revealed secrets of Family Matters? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.